Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. And we are back again this month with the great folks from Axon Tire. And Axon Tire has been helping dealers move iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. So we have a new guest here that she's never been on the show before. Her name is Paige Seek. You might know her as Paige Marsh, but she got married, and so now she's now Mrs. Paige Seek. So how you doing, Paige?
I'm doing good, Casey. How are you?
Good. So how things been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, they've been good. I feel like it's been a while since we've touched base, but July was a really busy month, especially for the marketing team. I feel like, well, for every team, but for the marketing team, we've been doing events, and then behind the scenes, we've been running a lot of campaigns. So doing a lot of things online, but also getting back into the rhythm of doing things in person. So it's just been really good. And we have a really big event coming up in September, which you might be familiar with. So we're going to do that in Nashville. So we're just preparing for events and doing a lot of behind the scenes things. But yeah, it's been really busy, but busy's good.
Yeah. So I ran into Jesse and a few of the crew there at Dealer Mind Summit down in Iowa City.
Oh, did you? I was wondering if you
action.
went.
Yeah. Saw them in action. They gave me a pretty cool coffee cup thing that they had. That was pretty neat, but It was good. You know, they had a good turnout. They had record turnout. They had, you wouldn't think there'd be, as much information that you could just talk about just service by itself and not parts and everything that go along with that. But I guess there is. So I'm just a dumb sales guy. So, but it was a good turnout. And just like usual, you guys put on a pretty good program there at your booth. You had plenty of stuff to give away, and it was a good turnout. So very fortunate to have you guys as a partner here on the podcast.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it.
All right, Paige. So who we got with us today?
Yes. So we have Stuart Berardi, who is our management team leader at Axon. And then we also have Mr. Philip Berardi, who is our purchasing manager. Right. So really happy to have these two here. They have a lot of great knowledge to share with the audience today. So I'm really excited to have you guys here.
Nice to meet you, Casey.
Yeah, glad to have you guys on. This is the first time you guys have been on, so I promise it won't be too painful, and we'll be nice. Paige usually has all the tough questions she has to answer. She got those out of the way, so you guys got the easy ones now.
It's true.
Nice to meet you, Casey.
Nice to meet you guys too. Right on. All right. So let's talk about a few things here. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in the industry right now. Lead times, I don't know if they've gotten any worse, but they sure haven't gotten any better. You know, we've got inventory delays and across the board. I don't care if you're selling tractors, or you're selling tow ropes, or whatever it is you're selling, whatever material that goes into those seems to not make its way where it needs to be when it needs to be there, so stuff can get made. So Philip, I guess from a purchasing standpoint, when you're looking at what's going on out there, what kind of lead times are you guys seeing right now? Are you seeing any relief in sight on this stuff, and do you feel like the market is kind of catching up to, I guess, is supply catching up with demand here a little bit?
Yeah, thanks, Casey. First of all, appreciate the opportunity. And it's a tough world right now with lead times. The challenge with getting product as it was back in the day is escalated, doubled and tripled lead times. Even local suppliers, where you think that they should be able to get them done quicker, sometimes ends up taking 3, 6, 8 months. It's like demand just going through the roof. And lead times being extended, I think, has opportunities as well as downfalls, in a way that you might say a new brand or a line can actually take off fairly quickly, because you have issues with one lead time with one vendor. You might have a company that's trying to get into the market that's able to provide product quicker. So it does have some benefits, but it's not very. It comes down to planning, really, and understanding what that looks like, forecasting with the sales guys. But lead times have definitely gone through the roof. That's where, understanding what our focus is has been a huge priority for us, trying to understand where we can help our customers.
Right. So is it like on my end, when I'm looking at stuff coming out of factories and those kind of things, it's never anything consistent. That's the same thing over and over again. About the time they get one thing figured out, there's a brand new, kink they throw at you. That's a whole nother thing. And then they get that figured out, and then it goes back to the previous thing that was the issue there. So are you seeing a similar deal where it's the same, it's just one thing after another and they get one thing solved and they're bouncing back and forth between issues there?
Yeah, it is same. When I come down to an item level for this, this item for this season or this item for the next season, you end up ordering, a year in advance just to make sure you have it for the following season.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy, man. I'll tell you what, we're doing the same thing too. We're looking out, at everything that we do. What are we going to get for 23 and what's the lead times looking like that? And what do we need to have in the lot when and those kind of things, and fighting through allocations and all these different things that come along with that. And it's, like I said, I don't know that it's getting worse, but it's sure not getting any better.
I think it creates more the need for planning, even on the farmer's part, just understanding, okay, what am I going to need, a year from now or 2 years from now, and making sure that we're talking to the guys and understanding what's in the pipeline and what should be in the pipeline if they don't already have it in the pipeline.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So from an inventory standpoint, you guys have a huge warehouse just piled full of stuff. Is there any one thing that you're concerned about in your inventory right now that people should really be thinking about planning for over another product line you might be carrying?
Well, the biggest line we carry is the changeover for the sprayer floats.
Mm-hmm.
They're continuously coming in and going out. We have plenty on hand right now, but that could be a different story in 2 months.
Right. Exactly.
We're scraping by on some of our big floater stuff for the new John Deere equipment, where they 1050 5032s or whatever for the dry spreaders. Those 4-wheel drive spreaders, or the Terragator 3-wheelers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we'll get some inventory in by the end of this month or next month, and be able to sell some. But it can fluctuate very quickly.
Yep.
We're actually doing pretty well on some combine sizes. Surprisingly, we did order earlier in the year, and I think it helps to be on the same page with the manufacturers as well as
Sure.
what their A items are. They're pushing, and the different types of models that they're pushing, and understanding that which area we're in, we should be pushing that model as well, and that's what they're producing, and we can get product.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is there looking at it from a product perspective and kind of playing that game that you see going on, do you see, because I've had this happen several times where something was supposed to show up 6 months down the road, and then 3 weeks later just kind of out of the blue shows up? Are you having stuff like that pop up where maybe some deadlines that they've given you aren't necessarily correct, where maybe it's longer than what they thought, and then it's dramatically sooner than what they thought?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you say that, because I was literally just talking to a supplier last week, and was talking about, like, okay, well, how do we eliminate that inconsistency? That variability in supply is can just kill us. And it's really understanding, I think, the A items for the suppliers.
Sure.
And from your aspect, as in what do we stock, and what can you use our inventory to your advantage, more than just being narrowed into what I might want as a buyer of a manufacturer's tires, or as you as a buyer of our tires to move your equipment.
Sure.
But really looking at, okay, what are the A items that I can tag on with that these customers are, the other customers of Axon is using, or the other customers of the manufacturer of the tire is using as well, because then it can become a more stable supply, because they're producing them so much more, and like 520 8542s, right, one of the most common combine tires and duals, and if we have them on hand in the season when we need them, we'll sell them. If we don't, we can't, it's done. And so that has actually been one of the sizes that we've been able to secure good inventory of right now, and much sooner than what we would have expected. And it's like, wow, I didn't really expect to have 150 tires on hand, 2 months before the season starts, but that's great,
It's kind of like the old days, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
What are you seeing, Casey, from your guys' standpoint on inventory? I mean, are you getting anything in on the lots, or not necessarily?
Yeah, we're seeing a big push. I mean, I think this last quarter of the year, moving into, October, November, December, these August, September timeframe, we're going to see a big kind of wave of machines come in. I mean, if everything stays like it's supposed to, everything stays on the order board like it's supposed to when it's supposed to get through the delivery phase of it. But I mean, I think as you look at that, we're going to see some stuff there. The flip side of that is all the used equipment coming with that. A lot of that stuff has already been pre-sold. And the trades coming in on the trades have been pre-sold. So we're just waiting for that new machine to show up to kind of start that chain reaction down the line. And that is you don't see that very often. And I mean, I don't say it very often. You see it, 10, 15, 20 years ago, that was a pretty common thing. Having to see it today like this, where it's just so many used pieces are just sold right out, one right after another. We're going to be in a similar situation going into the spring. We're just going to have, if something comes in, it's probably going to be sold, and we've got some pre-sold action there ahead of that. So we're gonna struggle through that. I think through. I hope it's not all of 23, but into the first half of 23, we're going to see some issues with that, and it's going to continue to be. It's a good problem to have. I mean, you're selling out all your inventory, so I mean, it's not like it's. I'm not looking for yard art, I'd love to sell everything we got, so it's a good problem to have at the same time, trying to get that the right thing in for the right guy when he needs it. It's going to continue to be a struggle for us, I think.
Yeah, we've heard some of these horror stories of orders being canceled from some of these big manufacturers, but has that affected you guys too, or?
I don't think so. We've been very very upfront. They've been very upfront with us. Like, here's what you're going to get, and you go out and sell that and see what happens, and we go from there. Which also gives us a good opportunity, like I said, to go out and offer some later model used equipment to somebody that maybe wanted something new. But also too, it's also opened the door up to where we can, send some things to, other customers for next year. It's like, hey, hang on, we'll get you one next year, and that's been going well for us too. But just kind of looking at the overall economy, what we see happening here, I'm not really too concerned with what we see happening from an overall economy. I mean, I think interest rates and inflation have got some people on edge. But it still feels like there's a fair amount of money out there, and there's still a lot of people that are wanting to spend that money. It feels like to me, and haven't seen anybody say no to something yet that they said yes to start with. But I know that's coming. I mean, that's just the nature of this business, and that'll happen somewhere down the road. But I don't know. Are you seeing something similar to that with the teams and stuff that you manage out there, Stuart? Are you seeing people where they're having those conversations about, I was going to do this, but I'm not going to do it now because of whatever factors in play now?
Yeah, I mean, because we do dabble in the retail as well, so we do hear that from time to time with some of the the farmers themselves. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm just going to hold off. I don't know exactly what they're waiting for, because if they can't get a new piece of equipment, then we're sort of thinking that they can go ahead and put on a new set of tires. But
sure.
But there has been some hesitancy here and there. Maybe that's just in our neck of the woods too. But in the main, things have continued to progress. So we're definitely thankful for that. And there's a lot of quoting that happens right now that then somebody's might have had a piece of equipment, and then they lost it because it's already gone. So they, we're quoting them something else. So there's that going on too. So,
So you brought up a good point there about, they can't get the tractor they're looking for. So what's the hold up on getting the new tires? And that's one thing we've talked quite a bit about at the dealership about, what are we going to do with the guy that had to put an extra season of use on something, mm-hmm. And the parts and stuff that go into that and those kind of things, and the reconditioning costs and all that stuff that play into that. Are you seeing that a little bit where you've seen some guy like your example there where, maybe they were going to hold off on doing this, but now they're for sure going to move forward with it, or they're looking at for some used tires, something like that, to kind of replace the worn tires they have now that they were hoping to trade off before they went back to the field?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yep. It's definitely becoming a thing. I mean, obviously, it's a lot cheaper to buy a new set of rubber too. So than a whole new tractor, but yeah, if you can't get the tractor, that's a whole nother situation. So no, we're definitely seeing that.
You know, when you're talking, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say we've definitely kind of noticed that in our, retail and wholesale segments of the business where they're, that's really kind of taken off somewhat. So I think that's definitely happening out there.
Yeah. From the perspective of what, kind of the whole thing there. So we live in this world of you better buy it today because it's the cheapest it's going to be. The cheapest day was yesterday type of thing. So, I mean, when you're talking with people right now and you're looking at price increases and all these different things that go into play, how are you kind of coaching them through that? Don't wait because, one, we might not have it. Two, it might be more expensive when you decide to make that move.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've definitely been able to, sell quite a bit that way. I would say, I mean, people, and it was the truth.
Yeah.
I would say it's maybe slowing down somewhat, but
Mm-hmm.
it was the truth. It was literally, we had people, sort of buying, especially in the construction market, just tons of ag tracks because they thought they, were going to have their tracks for their scraper tractors and whatnot.
Sure.
So, yeah, you had a bit of that going on, and it was legitimate. And yeah, when you're talking a 12-month lead time, and I think just the whole industry has kind of had to kind of adjust to this whole new way of thinking. I'm sure you guys are seeing it too, but just how many things are pre-sold and whatnot. I think it just took a minute for everything to kind of turn around and get used to that. But whether we see that for forever, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. But
I like the fact of scarcity creates opportunities to make money in anything, right? See that opportunity there. As much as I like the backside of what we see happening with our profitability and those kind of things, that's great. We in this business you don't get many years that we get to make a real bunch of money and really make a good profit. We're as profitable as a guy that's buying stuff from us. Unfortunately, we can't sell combines to the residential guy in downtown Chicago or someplace like that. We'd have a hard time selling them something like that. So we're really hanging on the farm economy and what those commodity prices look like and how those things roll together. And when our customers make money, we get to make money. And I think that's the ecosystem that I think people don't realize. We're as successful as our farmers are that we work with.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably something that's kind of taken for granted sometimes, is that we can only make money when you make money, and that's when you're not doing good, we're not doing good. So it's just one of those things that kind of ebbs and flows together. But you brought up a good point, and I think that's something that's overlooked when it comes to what you guys are doing. I think is on the construction side. I think you guys have a good footprint over there on the construction side, especially. I see a lot of videos with skid steers and those kind of things, and what that looks like. What's that market feel like right now? You seeing a slowdown with that side of the marketplace? Because I tell you what, for interest rates to jump like they've jumped, I drove across I-80 from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, which is like 30 miles from Wyoming, all the way to Iowa City, which is like 50 miles from Illinois, and there were more houses going up than I really thought there would be. That much activity still. And I mean, I guess, what are you guys seeing from that side of your business?
It's not slowing up right now. I'm sure it will if obviously these continues. I'm sure it will, but it just seems to be so much demand out there even for that. It's amazing. So no, it's been going strong, and I'm sure it's different in different parts of the country. So from that aspect, but no, here in Central Iowa, it just seems to keep cranking. So we appreciate that. But no, just I mean, we've had a couple of good years. But one of the things I just wanted to mention is we've really had to kind of take that and invest it back in inventory because this cost is just going up so dramatically. I think I was just looking the other day, and we've had an increase in our actual cost of inventory of upwards of 60%, and so it's just we want to keep keep things on hand for people. But it's, that's just the other aspect of it is it's going to cost us to do that as well. So
yeah, it's the cost to hold stuff right now is definitely something to pay attention to. And when you start looking at your overall inventory and what that looks like, because it's like you said, I mean, you want to keep stuff around, but at the same time, you got to make sure you have the right stuff to set around. That way you can get that turn that you're looking for on your inventory. Right on. All right, fellas. Well, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And this is my favorite part of the podcast right here. When Paige comes on and tells us what the giveaway is. It's like Christmas morning for me every time we do this.
Okay.
Well, Casey, this time it's not as different from the June giveaway that we did, but we were giving away those Axon mouse pads, and this time we're giving away Axon desk pads. So I wish I had one here to show you the actual size, but they're just a little bit bigger than a mouse pad. You can set them right on your desk. They still have the tire size conversion chart and then the load index and then a bunch of other facts on there too. So you definitely want one of these Axon Tire desk pads.
Wow.
And you can get one by emailing marketing@axontire.com. Just email us your first, last name, address, and we'll get one sent out to you.
Those things, I saw one at the
oh, did you? I was gonna ask. Yeah.
I didn't grab one, but I saw one. And
because you were waiting for the podcast.
I was waiting for the podcast. I was like, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. Come on. But it was there. But they are nice. You can, they're big enough to where it's like I've got one on my desk now that it's not the Axon one, but it's one on my desk now that I use, and it's really nice. It's like a huge giant mat, but it's a giant mouse pad, and it works out great. So
yeah, they're really handy.
They are very handy. All right, Paige, one more time with where you can get that freebie at.
Yep. If you email your first and last name and then the address you want it sent to marketing@axontire.com, and we will get one sent your way.
Right on. And Philip, if folks want to reach out to you guys, Philip and Stuart, if you guys want to reach out to you guys, what would be the best way to do that?
You can reach me on email, philip.berardi@cfitire.com. CFI Solutions is the overall group. Axon Tire and then CFI Tire Service. So that'd be the best way.
Right on.
Yep. And you can reach me at stuart.berardi@cfitire.com.
Right on. Paige, if folks want to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Yep.
You got a new email now, so you have to.
I got a new email. Yeah. So it's going to be page.seek, which is SIECH @cfitire.com. So.
Right on. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys being on the podcast. Look forward to seeing everybody at the Moving Iron Summit here coming up here in September.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Thank you, Casey.
Thanks, Casey.
Right on. I'm Casey Seymour. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. You can find me on Instagram. No, not Instagram. I already said that one. You can find me on LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast, and also check out the video version of this podcast on the Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. Check that out there. I got a good friend of mine named Alex Strachenko over in Ukraine, giving out humanitarian aid to all the people over there. He sent me a video the other night of an air raid siren going off and crazy things flying around the sky. So he's in the middle of all that. So going to help him out. There's a GoFundMe link in the show links. Check that out. If not, go to GoFundMe and look up Help Alex Transport humanitarian aid from Poland to Ukraine, and you can help him out there. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Philip, Stewart, and Miss Paige. Smooth Smart folks, out.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard work.